Picture this, a vast continent, rich in resources and diverse cultures, suddenly carved up like a pie at a family dinner. That's the story of Africa in the late 19th century, a tale of ambition, greed, and the reshaping of an entire continent. By the year 1900, the map of Africa looked drastically different from just a few decades earlier. European powers, driven by their insatiable appetite for resources and new territories, had descended upon the continent like hungry vultures. From the northern shores of the Mediterranean to the southern tip of the Cape, nearly every inch of African soil was claimed by one European nation or another. On-screen text. Subscribe to World Tales History Globe showing Europe Africa. Let's take a moment to visualize this transformation. Imagine an old, weathered map of Africa from the early 1800s. You'd see vast areas labeled simply as unexplored or bearing the names of ancient kingdoms. Now, fast forward to 1900, and that same map is a patchwork of colors, each representing a different European power. The British Empire, painted in pink, stretches from Egypt to South Africa. The French, in blue, dominate the West. Germany, Belgium, Portugal, and others each carve out their own pieces of the African pie. But here's where the story takes a dark turn. These new borders, drawn with rulers and pins in far-off European capitals, paid little heed to the people actually living on the land. Imagine waking up one day to find that your village, which had existed for generations, was now split in two by an invisible line. On one side, you're suddenly French, on the other, British. This was the reality for countless African communities. These arbitrary borders cut through ethnic groups, separated families, and ignored centuries-old trade routes and cultural connections. It was as if someone had taken a giant eraser to the rich tapestry of African nations, and the consequences of this careless division would echo through the decades, sowing seeds of conflict that would continue to sprout long after the colonial powers had left. Tribes that had coexisted peacefully for centuries found themselves at odds, forced into new national identities that made little sense to them. As we look at the lush landscapes of Africa, the rolling savannas, dense jungles, and sun-baked deserts, it is hard to imagine how a few lines on a map could have such a profound impact. Yet, the story of the scramble for Africa reminds us of the power of borders and the lasting effects of decisions made far from the lands they affect. This chapter in history serves as a stark reminder of the complexities of power, identity, and the artificial nature of the boundaries we often take for granted. The legacy of the scramble for Africa continuing impact of this pivotal moment in world history. On-screen text. Subscribe to World Tales History Globe showing Europe Africa.